Hi, I'm Amanda of Inspiring Inkin and welcome to my studio. In today's video we're going to be making this card. It's called a cracker fold card. It's a really straightforward card to make once you know how, and it folds flat so you can pop it in the post. So let's turn the camera around and get crafting. Before I show you how to make today's card, I just thought I would share with you a variation. The card that I'm making today is a Christmas card, but this style of card can be used really well for all different occasions. I've made a birthday card here, and it's really lovely, and you've got space on the back as well to write. So this card the card base is mint macaron, and I've used the papers and the papers and this metallic ribbon from the Gilded Autumn Suite. So that's these papers here, and then the leaves are from this set. This is the Stitched Leaves dies, and if you've not seen these, let me just get a couple of them out to show you. They have like an outer, which is a stitched line, and then you can also add this one in, and you can actually run them through like that, so you can get the veins that are little stitched lines. So that's what I've got there. So this is just a different variation of the card that we're going to make today. But we are using the Snowflake Splendor Suite. And now I've got to try and find it. There we go. So these are the patterned papers. I'm going to be using the dies as well. Really beautiful papers. And today I'm going to be going with this paper and Highland Heather. So let's get started. So for the card base, you are going to need a piece of cardstock that is 4 inches by 11.5 inches. So you can get 2 pieces out of an A4 size or a USA letter size. All of the measurements for everything that I'm doing today you can find just by scrolling down. Whether you're on my blog or on YouTube, all of the measurements and details will be listed, along with clickable links for all of the products that I've used, and you'll be able to go and shop in my online store. So we're going to take the cardstock and bring in my Simply Scored. Now, this scoreboard is amazing. You see me use it all the time. If you haven't seen this before, the score lines are every 1/8 of an inch, which is really cool. And if you work in centimetres, there is a metric board that can go over the top of it. This line here is the really important line for this particular project. I have used a Sharpie marker and run it down the groove of the 6-inch line. I sort of redo that every couple of months just to make sure it's showing as a dark line, and we're going to be using this to make our diagonal score lines. It just makes it really, really easy. So the measurements are really straightforward. It is 1 3/4 inches, 3 3/4 inches, 5 3/4 inches, 7 3/4 inches, and 9 3/4 inches. And then we're going to do the diagonal score lines. And what we're going to do is we're going to score from the top left to the bottom right, or to the middle right. So if you can imagine, you've got a panel, 2 panels that make a square, 2 panels that make a square, and a panel. And what we're going to do is we're going to score the squares diagonally that way and then diagonally that way. So you're going to put the top left score line on this dark line, and then you're going to move this bottom right to that same score line. And I'm just checking, double checking I was in shot. So you're then going to score. And then you're going to go from this top right to the bottom left. Just lift that up. Let me just move it up a little bit so you can see. Ooh, top right, bottom left. So that makes your cross. So we're doing exactly the same here. So we've gone top left to bottom right, top right to bottom left. And there we have it. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of tilt it and hopefully the camera's going to be able to pick that up. So you've got a diamond in the middle and then 3 triangles. Okay, so that is everything for the scoring. But I do just want to show you, if you don't have a Simply Scored, put one on your list. Definitely, definitely. But if you've got the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, you can do this on the trimmer. So it's a bit more fiddly though. So you've got this track here, and what you're going to do is you line up the where you're going. So on this one it's top right, and move it around to bottom left, hold it down, and then you can use your scoring blade to score it. Different people find different ways easier, so if you've got a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, then that would work as well. Now we're going to do some reinforcing of the score lines, and one really important thing, we don't want to bend on this centre score line here. This score line is only to line these up. We don't want it to fold there. So what I do, just get my bone folder and I'm just rubbing over the back of it to almost erase that score line. Okay, and then we're going to fold and burnish on all of the other score lines. And this is a really, really important thing to do with any kind of moving card, any kind of 3D project. The bone folder just gives you a really sharp crease, and it means that it will bend well. And fold that and fold that. And then we're going to fold these diagonals. So that one's going to go over here, and I'll fold it back again, and then the other diagonal, fold it one way, fold it the other way. Now I have left these triangle sections plain on the card that I've designed. But of course you can put pattern paper in there, you can stamp images in there. Just don't put anything that is bulky in here, because otherwise it won't close properly. So in order to get the card to fold the way you want it to, just squash top and bottom there and there. And these triangles will tuck in behind, and then you're going to fold this piece back out exactly the same fold them there, and then fold that piece back. And just give it a good squish. Technical term, squishing. And then that will give you your card. So, I didn't say this, but this will fit in a standard envelope. So now we've got to get all of the decoration pieces. So I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping. And actually, I'm using this stamp set, which is Christmas Gleaming, because I love this Merry Christmas and it's really easy to cut out. Putting these baubles, these would look really nice as a central feature. So you could do that as well. And I'm using Highland Heather ink. Now this is a really solid stamp. So I'm just going to see how this is going to stamp, because I've just re-inked that Highland Heather ink pad. Yeah, it's going to be slightly too wet, I think. Yeah, okay. So you know how to fix this. If you have been a little enthusiastic with your re-inking, and you know I'm enthusiastic about most things that I do, I've put too much ink on here, and what's happening is the ink is actually going up into the stamp where I don't want it. So what I'm actually going to do, don't worry too much, is I'm going to take off some of the ink. So I'm just going to use this cardstock and I'm going to lift off the ink in that area. I'm just going to do it a couple of times. And move that out of the way so I don't stick my finger in it, and try again. And you can actually, well, I can see, I'm hoping that you guys will be able to see as well. It's just a little less inky. There we go. So that is so much better, actually. Yeah, you can't, you can't see. I inked over the top, but that's so much better. It's much crisper. So let's just snip that out. And I'm actually going to cut right on the edge of the stamped image. So it looks like I've done something really clever to get white writing on the Highland Heather card, when actually the stamp has been clever instead of me. There we go. Just trim that little white bit off. Ooh, there. There we go. Get the ink bag closed up. So we need some patterned paper to put onto the card. This central diamond it actually measures, let me just pull that out, it actually measures 2 3/4 inches. So you can put a full piece of cardstock or paper on there, but I'm actually going to do a matte layer of 2 1/2 inches, and I'm going to choose this piece here in the middle of my paper because it's got the Highland Heather tones but also the blue. So I'm just going to cut that patterned paper at 2 1/2. So that's 2 1/2 inches square. So that is going to go just on there, like so. And then these pieces here, you need paper that's 1 1/2 by 3 3/4. So I'm just going to go 1 1/2 and 3 3/4. Ooh, pull that out of the way. So that's for one piece there. And then 3 3/4 this way. Oh, 1 1/2, not 1 3/4. There we go. So that's that piece. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some silver foil. I think I'm just going to add a little bit of silver foil there. So just bear with me a second. So the silver foil is 2 3/4 inches. Square. I've got a little dint there, so let me just trim that off. There we go. Let's bring that back in. Yeah, just gives it a little bit of a pop there, doesn't it? Okay, so we can assemble, and then I will show you the die cut pieces that we're going to pop on the top. This is a Tombow multi-purpose glue, my favourite glue. Basically, for that reason, can you see that that's slipped? It gives you wiggle room. That means that when you put something down, you have got a minute or two to get it in the right place and move it if you need to. So then this piece is going there, and this piece is going there. I love the watercolour-y effect that you've got on this patterned paper. So I have die cut some snowflakes, and these are the dies in the bundle with the Christmas greetings, and you've got snowflake stamps as well, and there's lots of different sizes and you can layer them up. And what I did was I die cut a couple because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I think I want to put them all on, which is good. And then I'm just thinking this Merry Christmas just needs to be lifted a little bit as well, so I'm just going to put that on that silver foil and trim that down as well. So sometimes when you look at something you just think, oh, I just need to add a little tiny extra bit of something. So that's what I've got there, and I'm only putting a tiny border there of silver foil, but it will just lift it. Okay, I'll get my glue dots and layer this up. And let's put a couple of glue dots. Ooh. Actually, I'll put 3 on there because it's quite heavy. So pop those down there. Use dimensionals, mini dimensionals, I think, for the greeting. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of bling on the centre of that snowflake, and we will be all done. Oop. Right, so just be careful where you put your dimensionals. That's not helpful because it will stick to the folding bits. So let me just pull that off and move it in and pull that one off completely because I've got 2 dimensionals there. So that will then sit. Let's put it straight, shall we? Okay, so now I'm going to put a gem on. So my question is, do I want the subtle one or do I want the blingy one? And I want the subtle one, so I'm going to pop that in. And these gems are part of the Snowflake Splendor Suite. So here is the completed card. This is how it folds to go in the post, and it opens up like this and stands. So it stands really, really well, but like I say, folds flat to post. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Do make sure to subscribe to my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com. Also, my YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram. You'll find me everywhere under Inspiring Inkin. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.